Imagine a child, just sitting in a nursery, reaching out to grasp a simple wooden block.
Right.
And we know it takes this immense neurological computation to do that. Just this massive symphony of synapses firing, muscles twitching, spatial awareness calibrating.
Yeah, just to move a tiny, clumsy little hand.
Exactly. So now I want you to take that image and scale that nursery up. Scale it to the size of eternity.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Imagine a cosmic infant. And it's not learning to grasp a wooden block, but learning to graft the very fabric of reality itself.
That is a massive scale.
Right. In this boundless playground, the universe isn't just the room the baby is in. The universe is the baby's own body. And every time you focus your attention, every time you solve a problem or connect with another person, you are quite literally that cosmic infant flexing a muscle.
You're learning how to move.
Yes. Welcome to the deep dive, everyone.
Glad to be here.
Today, we are unpacking a stack of research that is, quite frankly, a sprawling, mind-bending synthesis. We are pulling threads from modern neuroscience, quantum physics, chaos theory, and even ancient philosophy.
It's a lot to cover.
It really is. Yeah. And our mission today is to explore this radical perspective on existence. We're going to look at how your everyday attention, like the things you focus on right now as you listen to this, might actually be the universe learning to understand itself.
It is such a vivid image to start with because it fundamentally shifts how we view our place in the world.
How so?
Well, we usually think of ourselves as these tiny observers, right? Just walking around inside a massive, indifferent container. But this perspective suggests we are the active nervous system of that container.
The nervous system of the universe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that framework of the cosmic baby, it gives us a completely different lens for human struggle. If you look at our deepest challenges, our attempts to decode our own biology, to heal ourselves, to figure out human longevity.
For really hard stuff.
Yeah, the hard stuff. These aren't just random accidents of an uncaring nature. In this model, they're the intricate problem-solving toys placed right there in the cosmic crib.
Oh, I love that. Toys in the crib.
Right. By tinkering with these living puzzles, the universe is mapping its own telemetry. It's discovering how to move the entire cosmos with a single thought.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because going from a baby playing with blocks to a single thought moving the entire universe is, well, it's a massive leap.
It just jumped, yeah.
It sounds beautifully poetic, but I want to understand the actual mechanics here. If the universe is this infant learning to move, what are the cosmic muscles? How does a mere thought have any actual physical leverage?
So, to understand the mechanics, we have to look at the physics of leverage, specifically a concept called signal amplification.
Signal amplification.
Yeah, some physicists refer to it as the key in the crane mechanism.
Key in the crane.
Right. So, in a complex system, you don't actually need a massive amount of brute force to create a massive physical change. You just need a tiny amount of highly specific energy, a signal, to trigger the release of a huge amount of potential energy.
Okay, I'm following.
Let's look at a theoretical extreme, just to test that. Imagine a completely naked universe where only two people exist and they are light years apart.
Light years.
Mathematically and physically, their connection to one another is not possible.
Wait, I have to push back on that?
Sure.
Two people, light years apart, affecting each other. Gravity and light at that incomprehensible distance would be practically non-existent. Are we jumping a little too far into science fiction here?
It absolutely sounds like it, but the math actually holds up. You are entirely correct that physical forces like gravity or the neutrinos emitted by our bodies, they would be completely drowned out by thermal noise.
Thermal noise being?
The random, chaotic jiggling of atoms in the background of the universe, just the static of space.
Right, the static, so the signal gets lost.
Physical signals get lost, yes. But here's the critical distinction. Information doesn't rely on physical force.
So it's not about the muscle, it's about the message.
Precisely.
To ground this for everyone listening, is it basically like a microscopic digital passcode?
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Like you type in a tiny string of data, that's the key, and it starts up a massive, multi-ton industrial bulldozer, which is the crane.
Yes.
The passcode itself has absolutely zero physical weight. It weighs nothing, it exerts no physical force, but because it contains the exact right information, it holds the power to unleash the bulldozer's massive energy.
That captures the underlying logic beautifully. Information doesn't need mass. It just needs to be detectable by a complex, nonlinear system.
Detectable over the static.
Right. If a signal is highly organized, it can cut through that thermal noise, it can turn the lock. And the most complex nonlinear system we currently know of, the ultimate bulldozer in your analogy, is the human brain.
Wow.
A microscopic shift in your focus, like a tiny signal of organized information, can trigger a massive cascade of neural and physical energy within you.
So taking my bulldozer analogy out of the theoretical naked universe.
Yeah, back to reality.
How does this lever actually work between two people in the real world? Like right here, sitting across from each other. How does my internal passcode turn the key in your brain?
That takes us directly from theoretical physics into hard neuroscience.
Okay, let's get into the brain stuff.
So, for a long time, people believed in scopisthesia.
Scopisthesia. Wait, what is that?
It's the psychic staring effect. It's that eerie feeling you get when you are convinced someone is staring at the back of your head.
Oh, I hate that feeling. You just spin around and someone is looking right at you.
Exactly. Psychologically, studies have debunked that as mostly a myth, though.
Really? A myth?
Yeah, it's driven by confirmation bias and our brain's hypersensitive gaze detection system. We just remember the time someone was staring and forget the times they weren't.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the actual biological reality of how we connect is far stranger than psychic staring. It's a phenomenon called brain-to-brain synchrony.
Right, the hyper-scanning studies. I was totally fascinated by this part of the research.
It is groundbreaking work. Neuroscientists use hyperscanning to simultaneously image multiple brains while people interact.
Like putting two people in fMRI machines at the same time?
Essentially, yes. And what they found is that when people connect deeply, say, during a really engaging conversation or while collaborating on a puzzle, their brains literally sync up.
Literally?
Yes. The neural oscillations align, specifically in the gamma band.
And the gamma band is...
That's the brainwave frequency associated with high-level focus, deep insight, and conscious awareness. But the mechanism doesn't stop in the skull. It cascades down into the autonomic nervous system.
But how does that happen? Because we aren't physically wired together. There's no cable connecting my brain to yours.
It happens through the vagal brake.
The vagal brake.
Yeah, the vagus nerve is a major cranial nerve that oversees your heart, lungs, and digestive tract. When you feel genuinely safe with someone, your nervous system engages the vagal brake, which slows down your heart rate and calms your body.
Okay, so I feel safe, my heart slows down. But how does the other person's body know I feel safe?
You broadcast it.
Broadcast.
Yes. Your vocal timbre changes, your pupils dilate slightly, the micro expressions on your face soften.
All these tiny subconscious cues.
Right. And the other person's nervous system detects these microscopic, weightless signals, the passcode, remember, and their own vagal brake engages in response.
Wow.
The result is that your heart rate variability literally synchronizes with theirs. Your heart starts beating to the same underlying rhythm entirely without physical touch.
That is wild. So we aren't just passive receivers taking in the world like a camera. We are constantly acting like Wi-Fi routers, broadcasting an emotional signal.
That's a great analogy.
If my vagal brake engages, my router broadcasts safety, and your router picks up that signal, processes the information, and physically alters your heart to match mine. We are actively shaping each other's physical states.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it completely redefines behaviors we usually brush off as soft skills or, self-help.
Like what?
Think about deep listening, meditation, or compelling storytelling. These aren't just ways to relax, they are literal neurological tuning tools.
Tuning tools.
Yeah. When a great storyteller speaks, they are broadcasting a highly organized signal that forces the listener's brain to light up in the exact same gamma patterns.
They're hacking the network.
Essentially. And when you meditate and stabilize your own nervous system, you become a powerful anchor. You are broadcasting a stable frequency that forces a chaotic brain nearby to mirror your state. You are turning the key in their crane.
That is just wild.
Yeah.
We are constantly tuning each other's hardware. But okay, if our brains are these Wi-Fi routers constantly syncing up and tuning in, what exactly is the big picture we are tuning into? What is the baseline reality here?
To understand the baseline, we have to look at the work of leading neuroscientists like Anil Seth. He proposes a radical model that our conscious reality is actually a controlled hallucination.
A controlled hallucination. That sounds like an oxymoron.
It does, but think about it biologically. The brain is locked inside a pitch-black, silent skull.
Right, very dark in there.
It doesn't open little windows to passively observe the outside world. Instead, it has to constantly predict what is happening outside based on past experiences and expectations. It hallucinates a model of reality from the inside out.
And then it just uses our senses to double-check its math.
Precisely. It uses sensory data, the light hitting your retina, the sound waves hitting your eardrum, purely to correct the hallucination. If the sensory data matches the prediction, the hallucination holds. So the world you and I are experiencing right now is just the hallucination that our brains happen to agree on.
Okay, so if the brain is this isolated prediction engine building reality from repeating patterns, how does that map onto the actual structure of the universe?
This is where the neuroscience elegantly merges with fractal cosmology.
Fractal cosmology. Okay, break that down for me.
A fractal is a mathematical shape where every localized part is a miniature copy of the whole. Think of Russian nesting dolls.
Matryoshka dolls, yeah.
Right. Fractal cosmology suggests the universe operates the exact same way. The micro perfectly mirrors the macro. The way electrons interact mirrors the way planets orbit stars.
Patterns repeating at every scale.
Exactly. The complex, branching networks of our neurons look stunningly identical to the cosmic web of dark matter-connected galaxies. Our brain's prediction engine is a fractal mirror of the universe's structure.
But a fractal universe sounds incredibly chaotic. Like it's just endless, infinite loops of data. Where does chaos theory fit into this?
Chaos theory actually gives us the map. In physics, even in a completely chaotic, swirling, unpredictable system with weather patterns or the cosmic web, the chaos isn't purely random.
It's not.
No. It is always being pulled toward a hidden magnetic center point called a strange attractor.
A strange attractor.
Yes, it is the invisible gravity well that all the chaotic data orbits around. In the synthesis we are exploring today, this framework suggests that the ultimate strange attractor of our universe is love, or aesthetic beauty.
Love is a gravity well.
It's the underlying harmony that all this chaotic, fractal data is constantly swirling around and trying to return to.
Here's where it gets really interesting. But I have to ask a pointed question on behalf of everyone listening.
Go for it.
If everything I see is just a controlled hallucination inside my dark skull, and the whole universe is just this chaotic, endlessly repeating stack of Russian nesting dolls, doesn't that make human life feel incredibly meaningless?
It can certainly seem that way.
Yeah, like it feels overwhelming. Like we're just tiny, insignificant specks of data trapped in a chaotic void.
It can absolutely feel isolating if you view that chaos as a burden, or if you think the goal of life is to somehow solve the universe.
Right.
But the philosophical traditions in our research offer a vital reframe. They introduce the concept of lila.
Lila.
It's a Sanskrit term that translates to divine play. The chaos of the universe isn't punishment, it is an infinite invitation.
An invitation to play.
Yes. If the universe were a perfectly solved, predictable equation, the game would be over. There would be no motion, no creativity, no consciousness.
So the friction of daily life, the problems, misunderstandings, those aren't glitches in the matrix. Those are the problem-solving toys in the crib we talked about at the very beginning.
Exactly. When you face a problem, whether it is the friction of physical distance, a misunderstanding with a partner, or a creative block, solving that problem is simply love successfully applied.
Love applied. I like that.
You are using your attention to pull chaotic data toward that strange attractor. When you tune your internal Wi-Fi router to the frequency of connection or beauty, your controlled hallucination aligns.
The static clears up.
Right. You stop seeing the overwhelming, isolated, confusing trees of the chaotic data, and you finally perceive the beautiful, emergent forest. You realize that participating in the play is the whole point.
So what does this all mean for us on a random Tuesday morning? Let's pull this conversation down from the cosmos and the nesting dolls directly into our daily reality.
Okay, let's do it.
How does this fractal tuning actually change the way we experience very real, tangible things, like physical suffering?
Let's look at the biology of suffering through the gate control theory of pain.
Gate control theory.
Yeah. Imagine the nerve pathways running up your spinal cord to your brain have physical gates. When you experience pain and try to merely distract yourself, it's a weak neurological strategy.
Because you're just looking away.
Exactly. You are still bracing against the pain. But attraction is a fundamentally different mechanism. If you shift your intense focus to something deeply beautiful or engage in a profoundly meaningful interaction, you are tuning into that strange attractor.
And what happens biologically when you do that?
Evolutionarily, profound connection signals ultimate safety and survival, so your brain floods your system with dopamine and endorphins to facilitate that connection.
And those chemicals do what?
These chemicals act as physical keys that literally lock the neurological gates in the dorsal horn of your spinal cord.
Wait, really? They lock the gates?
Yes, they block the pain signals from ever reaching your conscious awareness because the brain prioritizes the profound aesthetic connection over localized tissue damage.
That's amazing. The pain signal literally hits a closed door because your brain is too busy resonating with beauty.
Yes, and this is actively shaping the future of medicine. Look at the clinical trends projected for 2026.
Okay, what are they doing?
Hospitals are beginning to abandon sterile, anxiety-inducing environments. Instead, they are utilizing high-tech virtual reality headsets and biophilic design,
Biophilic meaning.
immersing patients in nature and art, bringing the outside in. They're using these as top-down clinical interventions.
That makes so much sense. Hospital rooms are usually terrible for your mindset.
Exactly. By transporting the patient's visual and auditory focus into a highly aesthetic, beautiful world, they are proving that the hallucination of beauty has physical leverage over the sensation of pain. They are using beauty to rewire pain pathways.
That is absolutely incredible. Using the strange attractor of beauty as a clinical tool to close the pain gates.
It really is a paradigm shift.
Now, how does this frequency model apply to how we understand different types of human minds? We touched on neurodivergence in the research.
This represents one of the most profound paradigm shifts in the material. Historically, psychiatry has viewed neurodivergence, like autism or ADHD, through a deficit model.
The assumption being that the brain is broken or lacking something.
Right. But when we view the mind through the lens of chaos theory and fractal frequencies, we shift to a resonance model. It's no longer about a deficit, it's all about tuning.
Like tuning into different radio stations.
Exactly right. What society calls normal neuroconvergent people are simply individuals whose brains are naturally tuned to a low-fidelity consensus frequency.
The consensus frequency.
Yeah. Their controlled hallucination blurs out the chaotic details and optimizes for social cooperation. They see the forest very easily, and that broad, low-resolution view is what keeps the daily logistics of society running smoothly.
Okay, and the neurodivergent minds.
Neurodivergent people are tuned to a high-fidelity frequency. They perceive the raw, intricate fractal data of the universe, the trees, so intensely and vividly that the low-fidelity consensus forest often gets lost, which, as you can imagine, can be exhausting and overwhelming.
It makes me think of an orchestra.
Oh, tell me more.
You absolutely need the neuroconvergent bass line. You need the steady rhythm section, the cellos and the basses, holding the predictable social structure together so the song doesn't just collapse into noise.
Yes.
But without the neurodivergent minds, the wild, exploring, high-fidelity jazz solos, the music would never evolve. We would never discover new patterns, new technologies, or new strange attractors.
That is a brilliant way to conceptualize it. Without those divergent high-fidelity frequencies, the human forest would become a stagnant monoculture. It would stop growing.
It needs the solos.
It does. So mental health and societal structure shouldn't be about fixing the jazz solos to sound like a cello. It's about acting as a signal processor. We need to transpose our environment so that all these different frequencies can create a complex harmony rather than dissonance. It is all part of the cosmic baby learning to coordinate its different fingers to grasp reality.
What a massive journey we've been on today.
Truly.
We started with the concept of the universe as a cosmic baby, eternally waking up and learning.
From the nursery.
We broke down the physics of leverage, how the tiny, weightless passcode of your attention can drive the massive crane of reality. We explored the neuroscience of how our brains sync up like Wi-Fi routers through the vagal brake, hallucinating a fractal universe that is ultimately drawn to the strange attractor of love.
Like gravity well.
And we brought it all the way down to VR headsets, curing physical pain in hospitals, and seeing neurodivergence not as a biological deficit, but as a vital, high-fidelity solo in the human orchestra.
This raises an important question, though. What happens if a person takes this tuning process to its absolute extreme?
Is there an extreme?
The research introduces one final cautionary concept to balance all of this out. It's the phenomenon of falling in love with love, which in psychology is related to limerence.
Wait, so not falling in love with a specific person, but falling in love with the idea of love itself.
Exactly. It happens when the human mind tries to orbit the strange attractor of love purely as a theoretical concept, without attaching it to a flawed physical human being or a tangible real-world project.
Just floating in the concept.
Right. When a brain does this, it can cause a temporary euphoric collapse of ego boundaries. The distinction between you and the universe vanishes. Your brain floods with dopamine, mimicking the ultimate all-perspective of the cosmos. It is an incredibly powerful, intoxicating cosmic high.
But there has to be a catch. I mean, if we are supposed to be playing with the toys in the crib, checking out into a cosmic high sounds like a trap.
It is, and there is a profound warning here. While that cosmic high feels like ultimate enlightenment, falling in love with the pure concept of love risks completely detaching you from reality.
You lose your grounding.
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes the messy, real-world trees, the actual flawed people in your life, the mundane physical challenges, the friction of Tuesday mornings seem dull, frustrating, or beneath you.
Because it's not perfect.
Right. You compare them to the perfect hallucinative forest in your mind, and reality always loses. You become so obsessed with the perfect theoretical tune that you refuse to pick up your instrument and play with the rest of the messy orchestra.
Wow. You fall so in love with the concept of the game that you refuse to actually pick up the problem-solving toys in the crib. You have to actually get your hands dirty to learn how to move the universe.
You have to play the game.
So, the next time you walk into a crowded room or face a frustrating problem, I want you to ask yourself, are you bracing against the chaos? Or are you tuning your frequency to find a hidden attractor within it? Keep fine-tuning your instrument, keep playing with the messy, beautiful toys right in front of you, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.